soldier's life is a challenge itself. Every day there is a challenge because we always prepare ourselves accordingly that today is a war. Officer is always from the day one after getting trained. You are always taking your responsibilities very seriously. The letters which are getting you from your family and friends, they are sending. We used to earn it by having the push-ups, like 15 to 20 push-ups. So nothing is free in Forge. Firstly, I do not believe in luck because luck only favors to those who are working hard.
So I am your host Gaurav Garg and we welcome all our viewers to our show Amazing Mentor. Today with us is Squadron Leader Mayuri. She is an Indian Air Force Squadron Leader. She is magnificent program manager, over 12 plus years of proven success in streamlining the overall project, finance, operation, man management and administration in the matrix structure across the organization. Expertise in handling multiple projects in high stress level while producing the maximum output on the given scenario at multiple levels, utilizing the various resources to fulfill the life cycle of the project. Diversified experience in managing people and focusing on their innate capability and further streamline their potential for various tasks with high mode. Expertise in directing across culture teams using interactive and motivational leadership will spur people to willingly give 100% efforts, thereby completion of the project within time. She is currently lead Associate General Global Solution Center. It's a pleasure to welcome Squad Leader Mayuri to our show Amazing Mentor. Welcome Mayuri.
Thank you so much, Gaurav. And I'm really grateful and I'm part of this series known as Amazing Mentors. So thank you so much for having me over here.
So we will start from your childhood. So tell us, how was you as a child and any particular childhood memory that you would like to share?
I can say that my childhood was very happy and healthy one. I had a lot of very good and fond memories of childhood. We are three siblings. I have an elder sister and a younger brother. Apart from that, we are a gang of 15, 16 my cousins, and we used to stay all in the near vicinity of our area. And I can say that our team leader was my grandmother, and she used to take us for all the summer vacations. We still remember she used to take us to the hotel and we used to have a lot of fun with her, and we have enjoyed the festivals. And I can say that we are from that generation where we could actually cherish these memories with each other. So I can say, like, in short, I had a very good childhood.
Any particular memory you would like to share?
The similar thing was we were in the same school, so any kind of plans if we have to do, we used to, in the lunch break of our school, we used to meet and prepare any plan of meeting at each other's home. So, and then later on we used to inform that we are going to their home. So that was all fun together. We have enjoyed, and I had like total 8 brothers. So during the Rakhi time, they used to all sit in the same line, and we have enjoyed festivals all a lot together. And to be honest, we are still in touch, and we do have great this get-togethers most of the time.
So what about your educational background, schooling and higher education?
Been born and brought up in Nagpur. So my schooling starting from 10th, 12th, I have done the BE in electrical engineering, and that was also from the Nagpur University. So most of my education, I can say, I have completed from Nagpur University, and later on then I shifted to giving the exam SSB for Indian Air Force.
Was joining Air Force your dream profession as a child?
That was my dream. My grandfather was also in the defense. He was part of Ordnance Factory, and he was also part of this revolutionary movements which has happened pre-era of independence. My father was also in Ordnance Factory defense. So that kind of environment I have always been seeing. My sister was also very good in RD parades, and she was participating in NCC and other camps. So I always wanted to prepare for the SSB, and I can say here that during my engineering in our class, there was the only person, that was me, who said that I have to be part of Indian Air Force and want to serve the nation. So somewhere since childhood, that environment was there, and I always wanted to do something different, which so that I can give back to society. And that is how I prepared for the SSB in a right way. I took guidance from the retired officers that time, and with that guidance, I cleared my SSB in the first round itself, and I joined Air Force in 2010.
So any school mischief that you would like to share?
You won't believe, Gaurav, but I have been a very disciplined and sincere kid in school days. I don't remember any kind of mischievous things I have done in neither in school days, not even in college. However, I can say in college time, my attendance was also about 90%, and that was not the reason to go for college to attend the classes, but that was basically to hang out with friends. Most of my friends were from the hostel background, so they were the hostelers, and we used to hang out in the canteen area. So that I can say I have just done few ifs and buts over here and there. That's it.
So, what about your hobbies and interests?
I have like good amount of hobbies and interest areas. I do enjoy music. I listen to music. I do sing as well. And in the leisure time, I like to read books which are based upon the mindset and the psychology. Most of the people do not enjoy it, but somehow I really enjoy that. I like to connect with people. I like to go on hiking, trekking, and explore new places and learn about the cultures of each other.
So, who was your inspiration in your early childhood?
I do not have any specific personality as such in my mind. However, in the summer vacations, I still remember I used to read a lot of books which are based upon the autobiographies of people and the one who has changed the history. So, from that perspective, I remember the name of Bhagat Singh, Ahilya Devi Holkar. Then I have also read a book on Vishweshwaraya, who was the first engineer of India. Most of the time, which on the later stage of life I have learned is from my mother. She has been disciplined by nature. A lot of the leadership qualities, management skills, I think I have picked up from her only. That is all I remember about the inspirational part.
So, what all challenges did you face while preparing for your Indian Force examination, SFB?
So while preparing the SSB, that time I was getting the continuous guidance from the late Captain Zafekar. So he was guiding me through and through. That time I didn't face much of the challenges. I cleared the SSB. Somehow when I joined the training, so that time I realized that I have to match the pace with others. I was coming from the state board. I was also never played any sports as far as the competition is concerned. I was a casual badminton player and I have played somewhat cricket. However, so that time I felt like my physical endurance is getting tested. And to cope up with the academics, I never did a parade in my life because in my school time there was no parade or NCC for the girls. So these were few challenges which I thought they are bothering me. However, the passion was so strong to join the service and wearing that uniform. So I kept on going, and I'm happy to share here that I have also, apart from not having that background of parade, I could be a part of Republic Day parade in 2015 when the US President Barack Obama was also witnessed that RD parade along with Narendra Modi. So that was the achievement for me, I think.
So, what was the reaction of your parents when they see you in the uniform?
They were really very happy. So somewhere they were also knowing that I had that inclination. I'm working towards that. But when they got to know she got cleared this SSB exam and is also now going to join the Air Force, so they were very much happy.
So, where did you started your professional journey from?
Earlier, when we are joining the Air Force, so we go in Air Force Academy, AFA, that is in Hyderabad. So there we go undergo the training for approximately 6 months. That is in general for all the people. Those are coming from flying branch, technical branch. There is the third branch which is known as ground duty. So we all go together and undergo this training. Later on, everybody gets trained into their various respective specializations. After that, I went to Bangalore for 1 year. So tentatively, there is the training period which happens for approximately 2 years, and then you get into your first posting.
So, post training, how was your first day in your first posting?
It is very different, unlike it happens in corporate. When we go in the first posting, on the first day, it is been welcomed in a different way. You get pranked by your seniors. Your luggage is being taken away from them, and there will be some or the other story would be created. They check your physical and mental fitness. That is how the welcome happens. In if you speak to any of the armed forces personnel, that is the same trend and tradition everywhere. So the welcome has to be a very memorable one. And after that, they welcome you in a different way. They meet with each other, and on the first day, after this, you have and create a very good bonding with each one of them. That is how we, have a very good bonding. If you would have seen, that is why it is known as brother in arms.
So, what all challenges did you face post your training and in your first posting?
During my training days, I was finding the challenges which are coping up with the kind of environment I was getting into. So the physical fitness and having the lot of rigorous trainings, they make you basically strong. So these were initial day challenges, and I can say that soldier's life is a challenge itself. Every day there is a challenge because we always prepare ourselves accordingly that today is a war, and that is how we get trained. I come from the guidance weapons background, so every day we consider that today is a war, and that is how we do drill and simulated exercises. So the challenges are always and everywhere. And I would like to mention that we every time change the place. After 2 years to 3 years, we go on posting. Some people go on hard areas, some go in peace times. So most of the time we are, getting through a lot of complex weather situations, new area, unknown places, along with your family, and again going and looking after the professional task as well. So in general, the overall environment of service is always been the challenging and adventurous one.
So, what was the most challenging task of your career?
The most challenging task, I can say that I was into the specialization of guided weapons. And to get the specialization, you need to have a certificate. So to learn about that, getting upskill and getting specialization into it, learning a lot of new things, that I think that was initially the challenging thing. And if I talk about the task per se, I have in the initial posting, I have been asked to take the deployment, convoy deployment from place A to place B, along with all the troops and ammunitions. So that was the challenging one because I was the only lady officer who is going to deal with all this team together. So initially I felt that it would be the challenging one. However, I learned so many things from that journey of handling the complete convoy movement. It's not easy, and going to the front lines. From that task, I learned a lot, and later on, I actually handled so many such convoys and deployment. I have been also appreciated for that.
So, what were your roles and responsibility as Squadron Leader, Indian Air Force?
Squadron leader is a rank, and in the initial days, there are different ranks like the training flying officer, then it is like flight lieutenant and squadron leader. During my 10 years of journey, in the last 3 years, I got the rank of squadron leader, and this is just a rank, but the positions do vary when you go on the various other postings. In my last posting, I was dealing as a head of the combat flight, which means that I was heading for the deployment and complete combat operations of the missile unit. So I was head of that. I was responsible for all my men and machine and complete deployments, various exercises, then going to the temporary duties from one place to other place. So these all comes under that responsibility for me as a squadron leader.
So, any funny incidents in your training experience?
Training days are always very close to heart for any Fauji, and the most memorable times are also the training times. I remember that in the initial days, for 6 months, we were not allowed to use mobile phones. So we had phone booth, and there were only 3 to 4 booths where there we used to have like 500 people all together in the academy, and there used to be a huge line. So in the initial days, I still remember for 10 days I couldn't even connect with my parents and inform them that I am safe here and I'm getting food and all. So I couldn't inform them because we used to have such a tight schedule, hardly 3 to 4 hours of sleep. So that moments we always remember. Even if you have to call your parents, you will only get 180 seconds, only 3 minutes to connect with your parents. And sometimes we used to also ask for please दे दे थोड़े 3 मिनट मुझे और 1 मिनट और दे दे करके. So we used to have that kind of conversation and the bonding. We developed a bonding in Forge. Like we used to get only one glass of tea, and it has been asked to us, like we used to be like 30-40 people in one squadron. So used to ask, you have to utilize this, have this tea, and it should we left over till the last person. Everyone used to just take a sip of it, and we used to ensure that it is left till the last person. And that is how we have learned to share with each other, to think for each other, and the last person has to be not to be left. So that is how these are few training things I still remember. We have enjoyed a lot in the training times, even though it was quite tougher one, but we have a good bonding over there.
So post training, post getting your first post, when did you really felt that okay, now I have become an officer?
I think officer is always from the day one. After getting trained, you are always taking your responsibilities very seriously. During the training time as well, whatever the task is been informed to you, you are doing that. So I think that mindset has always been there. You do the things with respect to how it has to be done as an officer. So I think that mindset was always been there.
So what does power means to you, and according to you, how would you explain the saying with great power comes with great responsibility?
I would like to reframe your question in a different way, that if you are able to handle the responsibility, you will get a power accordingly. During the time of training as well, we have been asked that you have to earn it every time. Even your food, even the letters which are getting you from your family and friends, they are sending. We used to earn it by having the push-ups, like 15 to 20 push-ups. So nothing is free in Forge. You have to earn it every time. And that is how I think that power word we have never heard in military. It is always the responsibility which comes with you. And if you are responsible, then you will definitely get that position.
So how smooth and challenging was your transaction from military to corporate world?
Everyone faces few challenges, and I think it is not that easy, but not difficult as well, and not impossible as well, because the military people, they are coming from a very different background. Confinement in the cantonment, they had very rigid and core values which we follow every time. On the other side, in the corporate world, it is more of a marketing, relationship, increments, business culture. It is very different. So initially, it takes time to understand the languages for the people, those who are coming from the military. So I think you need to respect that culture, because the organizational requirement is so. So you have to respect that, and military person also has to be very flexible and adaptive when he or she is entering into the corporate world. And similar way, when the corporate companies are also, nowadays every company is welcoming, and they are having the veteran hiring programs. So it is being welcomed, because the kind of skill sets which a military person is bringing on the table, they are quite appreciable. The decision making, leadership skills, management, problem solving, the attitude, mindset is way different. So it has been also welcomed. So I think if we focus on this transitioning and we adapt the changes, because change is the only constant. So if we adapt those changes, it will definitely be smoother one for the military person. So for that, even though we have done this kind of work earlier, but the certifications or the technology per se, I think we have to get trained, and then the journey is good for any veteran.
So what are your roles and responsibilities as lead state general global solution center?
So I am currently working in Societe Generale from past 2.5 years, and here I am working in finance domain. I am working with the global financial services, and here I am basically looking into the reporting and analysis part. At few places I am also actively involved for the branding and strategy of the company.
So what major difference do you feel in the working culture of military and a corporate world?
So the difference is, it is all about understanding the languages. We come from a background where the jargons are very different from what is been said in the corporate world. So that initial understanding of the technology and the skill sets which nowadays everyone is having. We are staying in this generative AI and digital world. So it is very much required for a military person also to get adapt to these technologies. These are the differences we have to balance.
So what's that one thing you love about your profession, Air Force as well as corporate world the most?
I'm really grateful to be part of the military initially, because that gave me a platform to connect with so many people. Those are coming from different backgrounds, cultures. I like to travel, and I could measure the length and breadth of the India by going on different locations and postings. So I think meeting and connecting with people, that I have always loved. And this dream, I can say, that has been fulfilled by service. And in corporate as well, I really like to connect with the people. Those are coming from a different mindset and learn new things. I also like to learn and explore new things, and that is what I am currently doing here, connecting with people and learning new techniques and technologies.
So, who is your mentor in professional journey?
Most of the time I have been looking towards the people and learning from almost everyone, whether be it senior or juniors. Everyone has the unique skill sets. I feel someone is very good in the professional part, someone is good in the physical fitness and endurance. So I can say that I have been learning all the things from some or the other people, but I still remember one of my senior who was in the early stage of my posting. So most of the time I used to take guidance from him.
So, how would you define success and what is the role of hard work, smart work, and luck in achieving success?
Firstly, I do not believe in luck because luck only favors to those who are working hard. Most of the time, I have been initially the hard working person. Later stage, I realized it is also needed to do the smart work. And I think it is a blend of both. If you are having the right planning, you can utilize that time, you can save some time and utilize it for something else. So the combination of smart work and hard work actually fulfills your success and dreams.
So, how would you define leadership and what is the quality of a good leader?
A leader is the one who influences the team or the group of people, or maybe on a larger side to the organization or society. Leadership is such a big, huge subject, and there are number of elements it required to be a good leader. However, I would like to mention few elements here. And to be a good leader, I think one must has to be the follower first. So the follower can only understand the ground reality, who can understand the team's perspective, and that is how, after becoming a leader, he can understand what all issues can come ahead, and that is how he can lead by example. Second, I think the communication has to be very clear from the leader's perspective, and it is not that a person has to only convey or it has to be one sided. He also should be a good listener, so that the people or the team, they should feel that the leader is approachable, and that is how a good communication helps the leader going forward. Third thing, I feel the decision making ability has to be very clear if some adversities are coming. So whether you have to go with the plan A or plan B, you have to take that decision very quickly. So I think decision making skills has to be very good. The fourth one, I think the person has to be accountable, or he has to be the responsible, or she has to be the responsible one. So there would be a number of chances when something goes wrong as far as the goals are concerned. He has to be able to take the blame upon him. He should have that much of courage. And also, if something goes really good, he should appreciate his team. So the kind of courage is required. It has to be very important when we talk about the leadership. And finally, I think the emotional intelligence or empathy, I think that is very important when you have to understand the individuals, the team, whether we are having the kind of people, their mindset, and then only he can apply all these elements which I just discussed upon. That will make actually a sense if he is the empathetic or the kind person. So I think these are few points which a leader should and must have.
So, how do you make work life balance?
Initially, I never thought on work life balance when I was single, and we used to, when I was in service. So I always focused upon doing the task 24/7, and then later on, when you are getting time, you are enjoying. So, but later stages, when as you grow, you understand that there are multiple factors, multiple domains are there. When you get married, you have family, and later on, when you have kids, so the CG gets imbalanced. And I think ideally, it's not possible to have work life balance as zero, because some or the other time, some will be having a dominance. So you have to manage it accordingly. And having a kid, later on, I thought on these lines, and I think I started planning things in a right way. I used to plan whether it is for professional per se. I will plan it accordingly. I will connect with my team and understand their requirements, and that is how I used to do same for when it used to be the family time is concerned. So I think after that things get quite simple. So if we have the initial planning, so we can execute it well, so that we can give time to both the sides.
So, what advice would you like to give to young officers?
As young officers, we always have high josh and young bloods. So we are always want to do something good and different. So I think when you are young officers, you can actually focus upon the professionalism. You can learn a lot of new things. You can utilize that time to learn new technologies. And also the second thing is you can definitely focus upon developing your fitness and physical fitness, because that actually help in the long run. So I think these both things a young officer can actually handle it very well.
So, what are do's and don'ts you would suggest while preparing for your SSB examination?
SSB exam preparation is definitely the tougher one. We have seen the ratio, selection ratio. For UPSC, it is 19%, and when it comes to SSB, it is hardly 3 to 4%. So, definitely, the selection process is very difficult. It has two rounds. The first is the screening one. If I talk about the Air Force, in the screening round, the person has to give the written exam. It is known as FCAT, Air Force Common Admission Test. And after that, clearing the exam, one has to then go to the SSB or maybe AFSB centers. SSB is a Service Selection Board exam, Service Selection Board interview, wherein there are so many physical activities has been checked, psychological test, there are the personal interview, the panel interview, and so many things are being checked in the SSB. So I can say, as far as do's are concerned, firstly, if you are really focusing upon clearing the interview, you have to prepare your plan accordingly. You have to prepare firstly for the written exams, which are based upon physics, maths, and somewhat English, logical testing. So you have to firstly prepare on this part. Second, when you are preparing for the interview, be confident. Being confident is the major requirement, and you have to be what you are, and not to make yourself as any different personality, because it is very easy to catch that person, or maybe we can say it's very easy to catch hold, because so many people are giving the exams. So honesty, integrity are being checked, your confidence level, leadership qualities, how much you are able to follow when even the other person is also leading. So all these qualities, there are total 11 to 15 qualities are there that has been checked, that is known as OLQ, officer like qualities. And about the don'ts, do not too much take stress or load, because these are normal exams. There are people who has even not cleared the SSB, like Amitabh Bachchan, we have Abdul Kalam ji and Rahul Dravid. So even if it is not happening, probably you are been destined to some other place. So we should not take too much of load when you are preparing for the exam. But you are seriously looking for that, I can say that you can visit the website known as careerairforce.nic.in, and you will get all the information available how you have to prepare for the SSB interview.
So, what would be your advice to young graduates who are just entering the professional world? It could be in any category.
All the young generation, I can say that you all have a very good IQ, I must say that, because this generation is quite brilliant, and most of the time you are aware about all the informations, all the aspects. I would like to say here that you really need to focus upon other than IQ, and that is EQ, emotional intelligence, because nowadays so many information is available on the digital world, digital platforms. Now we are in the generative AI technology world, so there is so many information which are available as good, bad, and worst as well. So along with developing your emotional intelligence and your brilliance IQ, you should focus on what is good for us. Focusing on that good, you should focus on how we can make it better, and that is how we can contribute towards the society and for the nation. That is what I would like to say to the young generation, so that you have to be empathetic.
Start a rapid round.
Okay.
So, if you need to choose one, what would that be from employed entrepreneurship and Air Force officer?
Air Force officer.
Success in one line.
Satisfaction.
Luck, hard work, or smart work?
Smart work.
Favorite destination?
Switzerland.
Your favorite adventure?
I'm still not done, but I like to do bungee jumping.
Your favorite actor and actress?
Amitabh Bachchan and Deepika Padukone.
Your favorite color?
Olive green always.
Favorite country?
India.
So, at last, one line that defines you.
The one who always focus on being happy and look happiness in everything.
Thank you very much for your time and accepting our invitation and sharing the life journey plus challenges and the advices on our show. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much, Gaurav, for your time as well. Looking forward for such more interactions. Thank you.
My pleasure.